What is up, everyone? This is Matt Hewitt. I am the host of Into the Fryer Ramblings from the Kitchen podcast. I also run a little website called FryerPod.com where I have a blog and starting to do some vlogging on there. This actually is going to be my first IGTV video, so we'll see how it goes. Since I'm new to the platform, I've been on Instagram for a while on the personal side, and I've done a couple of different other ventures and kind of done some, playing around on the social network marketing. But last year, I guess I should tell you why I'm actually doing this Instagram video, and the reason that I'm doing this is because I wanted to have some of you that may not know me get to know me a little bit. Maybe you'll go and read my blog posts, or maybe you'll go and listen to one of my podcasts. Anyway, I'm originally from Long Beach, California. I currently live in Sandy, Utah, which is just outside of Salt Lake. And I started working in kitchens when I was about 18 or 19 years old. And I think I made the full-time jump when I was 20. I am 45 years old right now. 45 years old. I know I look younger than that, but, it's just about living right. In any case, I freaking love food. I love the food industry. I love all aspects of it, from the production to the sales to, procurement, all of those things, fabrication, working on a line. Currently, I'm not working in the kitchen. I am on the sales side of it, but I was on the kitchen side for, most except for the last year and a half, which I've been doing sales for the most part. The other thing that I love is I love telling people stories. That's in and of itself one of the best things I've found, and one of the reasons that I started doing the podcast. I started out just a little less than a year ago doing the podcast, and I thought I had something interesting to say. I thought I had an interesting story. I will be right up front with you that I used to live hard and play hard, and I worked my ass off. And now I've been, because of the result, or because of the way I lived, I've now been sober for over 11 years, and I'm not, using that as a badge of honor or anything to be proud of. I had a problem with alcohol and smoking weed, and I wasn't gonna keep being able to live the way I was living or go on and survive if I didn't make some changes, and I was just tired of living the way I was. In any case, if you want to find out more about that, you can just contact me directly. You can contact me on my if you go to my Instagram profile, or on there should be a link that says FryerPod.com. You can go to the contact, or there should be a thing that says email me down right above where all the posts start. But in any case, I started the podcast because I thought I had an interesting story. Maybe you'll listen to the podcast and think your story's boring, dude. But I started sharing my story about how I got started in the food industry, and how I got started cooking, and kind of the trials and tribulations that I've gone through, and where I've been and what I've done and all these things. And then I got to a certain point where I wanted to start telling other people's stories. So I started reaching out to some of my friends that are chefs and some people that I know. And as I started to do that, I found that I really fell in love with, there's a energy or a synergy that happens in a conversation between two people. There's a commonality that I found among chefs and creative people in general, that really, really touches my soul. And that's why I now I've come to find out through doing the podcast. I've done in all total, I think, 23 episodes, and probably 13 of those have been interviews with 12 of those have been interviews with chefs, and one interview with my son. But in any case, the thing that I found is that that I love the human connection. I love being able to talk about the story that I'm not going to edit this, but I get a little bit worked up, and so sometimes I have fits and starts when I'm talking about food and people. But anyway, I found that I enjoy getting to know people that are in this industry. I think it attracts, the food industry in general to me attracts a bit of vagrancy. It attracts some creatives. It attracts some people that are making a pit stop on their way to do something else. But they're my people that I love, and people that I can get down with and like talk to and relate to. A couple of the chefs that I've talked to we've been able to find that we have a lot in common, from wanting the instant gratification and kind of that being a driving factor as to why we remain in.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of this new podcast. I don't even have a name yet, but I do know that I have some things that I want to talk about. So maybe we'll go through an episode. I'll tell you what this thing's going to be all about, and then maybe we pick a name. What do you think?
What is up, everyone? This is Matt from FryerPod.com and Into the Fryer Ramblings from the Kitchen. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Through my travels, I get asked a couple of different questions quite a bit. I get asked what are my favorite places to eat here in Utah, Salt Lake City area. I drink a lot of coffee, and people are asking me, they think I'm some sort of connoisseur on coffee. So I wanted to give you guys some of my favorites. We'll start with the coffee first. I'm not gonna lie, I do drink Starbucks from time to time because it's quick and easy and convenient, and Americano from Starbucks is always, it's good to go. It's better than just a regular cup of coffee. But if I'm gonna go have a nice, really cool cup of coffee, there's two places that I really enjoy. One is in downtown Salt Lake. It's called Campos Coffee Roasters, or Campos Coffee. It's on Edison Street, I believe, and they have some freaking awesome coffee. I get what's called the long black, which would be kind of similar to an Americano. When it's cold outside and when it's warm outside, they have awesome nitro cold brew. The other place that I like to go is down in the area where I live in Sandy. It's called the Bean Yard. And the Bean Yard, wow, people rolling. The Bean Yard is, they are like scientists when it comes to coffee. It's really awesome. I do enjoy their espresso. They do the siphons and pour overs, but I am usually just an Americano kind of guy. I don't want to sound biased. Now I'll kind of jump to some of the restaurants that I enjoy. It just depends on what I'm looking for that day and what I want to eat. I think there's a couple places that I truly enjoy no matter what. Nomad Eatery out on North Temple, out west towards the airport, I think is outstanding. Block Restaurant down in Provo, I think they do an exceptional job. And I am a lover of pho, and I think that Oh My especially the original location down in the, I guess that would be Holiday Cottonwood area. Um, I think they do an exceptional job as well. So just a couple of little tips if you're in the Salt Lake area. I'm also going to tell you, I used to work for Red Iguana, and Red Iguana is probably the most well-known restaurant, maybe perhaps the single most well-known restaurant in Utah. The food is exceptional. I don't want to sound like I'm playing favorites, but the food and the service, the atmosphere are exceptional if you're looking for some great Mexican cuisine. But anyway, I hope everyone enjoys this little tidbit. Hope you find it helpful. Take a look and support your local eateries and local coffee roasters. Peace.
Waited on a lot of famous people. That's always kind of funny. You mentioned Mike Judge. I waited on him, and I couldn't tell if he was like messing with me, but he talks just like Hank Hill. And I went up and I was like, "Hey, you ready to order?" He said, "I have a question for you. Is there some way I could just get a grilled piece of salmon with some mashed potatoes and some steamed spinach? Could I do that?" And I'm like, "Okay, you sound just like, are you messing with me?" Or I didn't say that. I just said, "Absolutely, sir." And I took his order. But I did a catering once at the Long Beach Aquarium, and they wouldn't let us use their water. And
The thing that I found is that that I love the human connection. I love being able to talk about the story that I'm not going to edit this, but I get a little bit worked up, and so sometimes I have fits and starts when I'm talking about food and people. But anyway, I found that I enjoy getting to know people that are in this industry. I think it attracts, the food industry in general to me attracts a bit of vagrancy. It attracts some creatives. It attracts some people that are making a pit stop on their way to do something else. But they're my people that I love, and people that I can get down with and like talk to and relate to. A couple of the chefs that I've talked to we've been able to find that we have a lot in common, from wanting the instant gratification and kind of that being a driving factor as to why we remained in the industry or why we became chefs. Or coming from similar backgrounds, or just there's so many different aspects of doing the podcast that I enjoy, and the two main ones are human connection and then helping people tell their stories. The blog, if you go and check out my website, FryerPod.com, FryerPod.com. You can see all the blog posts that I've done. And again, I'm with the website, I am maybe 5 months in. With I may have started in January. With the podcast, I'm coming up on a year, and with the blogging, I did that in the past, and then I started doing it again in conjunction with the podcast. But I cover very different not always about food. I've talked a little bit about my journey. I've written about that. I've written about just the feelings that I have and emotions and trials and tribulations that I've gone through. Just kind of me in an open therapy session writing about what's going on in my head, getting the thoughts that are in here out onto a written page, or a typewritten page, I don't have the hope that I have is that if one person reads it, and it helps them in some way, or someone, they like what I put out there, or someone is like, hey man, that really helped me, or I felt that way too. That's what the writing is about. I just from time to time I have just put out an article today, Saturday, March 30th. I put out an article or a blog post that was talking about how I view cooking, and is it an art or a craft, or is it both, and how I viewed myself as an artist, and then realized that I wasn't an artist. I was a craftsman that was perfecting a craft and then turning it into an art form. And some of the little tools that helped me along the way in my career. So I hope that you enjoy my first IGTV experience. Hopefully it's really funny if I have a microphone in front of me and I'm talking to another person. It's not very intimidating, but doing this with just me sitting in front of a camera and talking to you, anonymous people that are out there that don't know me, really scares the shit out of me. So, we'll just take it as it comes. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. I hope that all of you enjoy what I'm doing. And if you want, into the fryer, ramblings from the kitchen. Let me try that again. Into the fryer / ramblings from the kitchen. It's available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Radio Public, you name it. It's on most platforms. Google, if I didn't say Google, and my website you can go and check out anytime, FryerPod.com. I do have Instagram that you're watching right now. I also have an Instagram feed. I'm on Twitter, FryerPod on Twitter, and I also have a page on the old Facebook. This is Matt. Hoping you have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
You elevate your life is from the grit to the infinite, and so I started out very in the grit, and I really have a tremendous amount of respect and compassion for people that suffer, and especially when it comes to just the life you're born into. And my parents were incredible human beings, and sweet and loving and funny, and and really powerful people in their own right. And I spent a lot more time with my mom than I did with my dad. I mean, my dad was a wild horse, and so he was off living, a wild life, and in some ways it protected me, because that wildness he was a teenager. My dad was 19 when he had me, and my mom was 18, and all the wounds and all the tumultuousness. It was the 70s, Matt. We called it hands-off parenting.
Yo, what's up, everyone? This is Matt from Into the Fryer, Ramblings from the Kitchen, and FryerPod.com. Oh man, what a beautiful day it is. What a beautiful, beautiful spring day it is out here in the Midway, Heber area of Utah. So I've been doing some work out here over the last few weeks, and if you live in Utah, in the Salt Lake area, Provo area, Utah County, Salt Lake County, and you haven't been out here lately, you really got to do yourself a favor and get out here and see what's going on. There's a lot of growth out here in this area, a lot of beautiful wide open space. But one of the things that I've noticed recently, and that's brought me out here for doing some work, is the chefs and restaurants that are starting to crop up, and people that are finding these little really cool, funky old homes and old buildings and kind of renovating them and updating them a little bit and doing some really cool, unique stuff in the kitchen. There's a couple places that are out here that I think are worth mentioning. There's Main Street Social in Heber, Midway Corner Restaurant in Midway. There's Snake Creek Grill, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Old Goat. So if you guys are finding yourselves wanting to head out of the city for a moment and come and experience, I mean, look at the backdrop behind me. It's just incredible. Clear blue skies. There's still some snow on a lot of the mountaintops. It's probably about 58 degrees and just gorgeous. So if you guys are looking for a little escape, that's just past Park City and a little bit off the beaten path, but starting to get some names of some chefs and some people that are doing some really killer cool stuff. Head out to Heber and Midway. You won't be disappointed. Peace.